call it football, call it soccer, you are no doubt well aware that the biggest sporting event in history, the 2026 World Cup, is taking place right now in North America. There are 48 teams, 104 matches across 3 countries, and all with a staggering $13 billion revenue target. The World Cup has the potential to be the most expensive and the most lucrative sports event ever. So today I'm joined by multi-asset portfolio manager Sahil Shaikh, and we're asking, is this still about football or is it actually all about the money now? So Sahil, let's first talk about the ways FIFA has expanded the World Cup this year. I mean, there are players from 71 countries there, and I'll be honest, it's hard not to get swept in. I even caught myself cheering some of the lesser known teams like Curacao the other night. But talk us through the ways they've expanded it.
Yeah, no, completely. I think first things first, I didn't know what kind of mood I would be in today after the England match yesterday, but I'm glad I'm in quite good spirits after that thumping victory. But yeah, I mean, the World Cup, it's massive. It's got a broad reach, and it's going to be bigger than in 2022 in many ways. So when you think about the World Cup and how it started with 13 teams and 18 matches. The last tournament was, had 32 teams. This year and going forward, we're going to have 48 teams. So that's 104 total matches. So it's like an odd 60% increase in the number of matches. A format we're going to see going forward in many World Cups, it's actually hosted across multiple countries. So although 70% of the matches are in the US, Canada and Mexico also host nations. So it's spanning multiple time zones. It requires a lot of long distance travel for the teams. The tournament's longer. It's going to be 10 days longer. So it's going to be over a month. So, I mean, for the sports fans, it's quite, a good sign. And, the road to the final, you don't have to win just 7 matches. You have to now win, 8. So many people say this has been for global inclusion. It really is a World Cup. To your point, you have nations such as Curacao that have never been at a World Cup. So the geographic reach is really broad. But clearly, more matches means more revenue opportunities. So that's obviously quite central to the decision.
So let's come on to that. I mean, the global audience is extraordinary. They say they're up to like 6 billion people engaging with the World Cup, which is 3/4 of the world's population. So how are they looking to monetize that global attention pool?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, all eyes of the world are on the World Cup, right? So it's not just the biggest tournament in history, it's the longest in history. It's going to be, 9,000 minutes of action. You also have now hydration breaks coming into this. Yeah, so some could argue it's for the heat, but obviously for some audiences, it also introduces, additional revenue streams. So more football equals more broadcast lots. There's sponsorship exposure, there's ticket inventory. Ultimately, broadcasting is the king, and it's the main bulk of the revenues, around about 5 billion, I think. So these are basically global media rights to show these matches. Also, you have ticketing and hospitality. Remember, FIFA controls ticket sales, so pricing and the premium hospitalities are primarily for FIFA and monetized by them the most. I mean, I think the cheapest seats in some of the broad categories was $560. So this is a real jump in, ticket prices, as has been covered by media massively. You also have then sponsorship deals and licensing merchandise, where FIFA is also the primary beneficiary. So it's a highly centralized profit model with FIFA capturing most of the economics.
So that's really the twist, isn't it? So you've got FIFA set to pocket these billions, and I was reading that some of the host cities actually barely break even. So let's talk, I guess, about the impact of the broader economic benefit to the host cities.
Yeah, completely. I think there's a lot of parallels for our UK investors, and similar to kind of 2012 in London as well. So at the headline level, you have the numbers are huge. They're 40 billion global GDP impact, 800,000 jobs tied to the event. But when you actually zoom out, the micro impact is quite modest. For example, the US GDP uplift is estimated to be 0.05% of a 0.05%. Yeah. So this barely moves the needle in a 30 trillion economy. You have some sectors like within equities that are going to be winners: hospitality, airlines, beer. When you think about, they've actually been on the losing end because of the war as well. But you have sports media, betting platforms have done very well. And then the losers arguably are the host cities and the taxpayers funding the infrastructure and security costs. You've seen some US cities increase, like I think was it the New Jersey to New York train line increasing tickets to $100 because of the sheer infrastructure costs. So Yes, you're going to see a strong spike in tourism, a bit, in inflation as well. There's going to be a spending uplift locally, but that typically reverses once the tournament ends. So we've got this incredibly profitable global event, but when you get down to the city level, it may be a bit more nuanced.
So it's the World Cup we all love, as well as a sophisticated commercial machine. And as you mentioned earlier, it's the only event where the whole world tunes in, and somehow there's still room for another ad break. Thank you, Sahil. Thank you all for listening, and join us again next week for another topic that's caught our eye.